The Moonlight Greatsword is almost certainly the most iconic weapon in all of Dark Souls. Under normal conditions, there's quite a few bosses you need to take down before it can be obtained. These include the Asylum Demon, Quelaag, the Gargoyles, the Iron Golem, Ornstein and Smo, and then finally, if you have a weapon with enough damage, you can get a tail cut on Seath and get the sword. But what if I told you it's actually possible to get the Moonlight Greatsword without killing a single boss? The first obstacle is leaving the Asylum without killing the Asylum Demon. We can do this by killing the Asylum Demon. If you manage to kill the Asylum Demon in the initial encounter with him, the game sets a flag for Oscar to give us the Big Pilgrim's Key instead of it coming from the demon himself. However, the game sets this flag when the demon's health reaches 0, not when the Victory Achieved message appears. So if you warp or save and quit after his health reaches 0, but before Victory Achieved appears, Oscar will give us the key, and the game will still consider the demon alive. With the key obtained, there's little the demon can do to stop us from leaving. When we arrive in Lordran, we're going to want to immediately make our way over to the graveyard and grab the Zweihander. We're going to need it for skipping a boss later. Now we're going to go on a rescue mission. Make your way to the Undead Burg and jump through this gap in the wall. From there, head over to the ladder and climb on it, and then back off of it. As your character finishes fully standing up, if you turn around, you'll end up on top of the ladder. From there, you can roll at the wall to get out of bounds. After that, it's simply a couple drops to get us into the depths. Now we need to make a precise jump to end up on top of this tunnel. From there, if we continue down the tunnel, we'll get the dialogue from Laurentius. After that, you can throw a firebomb slightly to the left to break the barrel he's in and free him. Laurentius wasn't our only rescue target, however, so make your way back to the Undead Burg, this time going through the fog wall. Grab this soul of a lost undead along the way, and then make your way over to the male undead merchant. Once we're there, we can utilize the prompt swap glitch to use 99 of the soul of a lost undead we picked up. Now we're going to buy the residence key, the east-west shield, and 999 wooden arrows.
Thank you, Kai.
Now we need to head back towards where we came from and make a precise jump on this ledge. If we save and quit before we hit the ground, when we load back in, we'll be on top of the ledge. From there, if you look towards the chimney on the building across and perform a light swing with the straight sword hilt, you'll end up on the wall and be able to fall down to the lower Undead Burg. From there, run over towards the fire and get behind it to have the dogs cook themselves on it. Saving and quitting will get any of the undead assassins off of our tail, and any of the dogs that didn't initially cook themselves will cook themselves when you load back in. From there, open the door to free Griggs. Back in Firelink, grab one of the souls of a lost undead. We can then store the quantity of the wooden arrows we have in memory by bringing up the drop prompt on them, and then use the prompt swap glitch to use 999 of the soul we picked up. From there, we can immediately talk to Laurentius, getting a Pyromancy Flame and immediately upgrading it to +15.
Wait, friend.
Now speak to Griggs, buy Fall Control, a Catalyst, and both of his rings.
What's that?
Make your way into the Valley of Drakes through the New Londo ruins, grabbing the soul that's behind the door, as well as the one between the dragon's talons. Rest at the bonfire that's at the top of the elevator, and then perform a force quit wrong warp to get back to New Londo Ruins. Back in New Londo Ruins, we're going to make our way to the back entrance of Blighttown, utilizing a fall damage cancel into a meme roll to make it to the bottom safely. Make your way over to Quaylana, and use the quantity storage and prompt swap glitches to use 999 of one of the soul items we picked up. Now speak to her, buy Great Fireball, and ascend the Pyromancy Flame to +5. While we're here, we can also make our way past the bonfire and grab a dragon scale from this chest so that we can upgrade the Moonlight Greatsword right away once we get it. From Darkroot Basin, grab the Grass Crest Shield, and then perform a Force Quit Wrong Warp to get to the start of Darkroot Garden. Make your way to Andre, and then perform the quantity storage and prompt swap glitches on the other soul item we picked up. You can now buy whatever items you want from Andre, then utilize the prompt swap glitch between the standard arrows and longsword to buy 999 longswords. If you bring up a prompt on the longsword afterwards, a quantity of -998 will be stored in memory, allowing us to utilize prompt swap again to duplicate the dragon scale we picked up. Rest at the bonfire, get the stats required to use the Moonlight Greatsword, as well as 12 attunement, and then attune the 2 spells we bought. It's also a good idea to equip the 2 rings we bought earlier now. Now lure one of the enemies towards the second post from the bottom of the stairs. From there, we can parry and riposte him to clip into the Death Came's trigger. This will prevent the gate from loading, allowing us to enter Sen's Fortress without ringing either bell. After saving and quitting and loading back in, make your way through Sen's Fortress like normal, all the way to the Iron Golem. To skip the Iron Golem, we need to perform a grab cancel by hitting him with a running attack with the Zweihander at the same time he grabs us. We also need to be far enough under him to get launched the distance we need, and set our angle up in almost a perfectly straight line backwards, or we'll miss the only platform we can land on. This trick is very precise. If done right, we'll land inside the platform where you encounter the first gargoyle in Anor Londo. If you miss or actually get grabbed, quickly save and quit so you can try again. After landing it, a force quit wrong warp will send us to the beginning of Anor Londo. Rest at the bonfire, then head down the elevator and kill the gargoyle. Take out the giant sentinel guarding the staircase to the Duke's archives, make your way back to the elevator, get set up in meme roll equip load, and make sure you have the lingering dragon crest ring equipped. Cast fall control when the elevator is almost at the top of the shaft, and meme roll your way down the tower. Quickly run up the stairs, and if you're fast enough, you can get back on the elevator just as it's about to go back up. Once you're back on the elevator, unequip everything that has weight except for the Grass Crest shield. When the elevator gets to the top, we have to run all the way into the Duke's archives before fall control wears off. Timing is tight, and the path can be awkward to navigate with the camera like this, but if you're fast enough, you should be able to make it inside and save and quit before it wears off. If you don't make it in time, you'll die. Loading back in, we can run forward a bit, and then perform another Force Quit Wrong Warp to get past the boars. Although the Wrong Warp puts us right next to the bonfire, grabbing it would actually soft lock us inside the Duke's archives. So, unfortunately, this next sequence has to be done without any bonfires. This also means we need to skip the intended death with Seath, as going to the prison would also soft lock us. Performing either Duke Skip or Duke Warp allows us to avoid the prison sequence entirely, and we can continue on to the Crystal Caves. When you get to the section of the Crystal Caves with the clams, you'll want to take a path that avoids having the clams follow you into the boss room, and then quickly start the fight with Seath. When the fight begins, equip the Pyromancy Flame, and stand next to the crystal. When you see him start a breath attack, start running towards his tail. He'll destroy the crystal himself, stunning himself, and allow us to hit his tail twice with Great Fireball, cutting it and obtaining the sword. And with that, our mission is complete. We've obtained the Moonlight Greatsword, and we can use it against every single boss in the same playthrough. I hope you found this video helpful, or at least interesting. I know that obtaining the Moonlight Greatsword like this is not easy, but it can be a fun challenge if you're up for it. That's all for this video, and I will see you guys in another video.